The early 20th century was a time of great change, but also great tension. Europe was a powder keg waiting for a spark. The causes of World War I were complex and interconnected. We can understand them through the acronym MAIN: militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. Militarism was on the rise. Countries like Germany and Great Britain engaged in a naval arms race. They built bigger and more powerful warships. Each nation wanted to have the strongest military. This competition fueled suspicion and fear. Alliances were formed between countries. These agreements pledged mutual defense if one nation was attacked. The Triple Alliance included Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. The Triple Entente was made up of France, Russia, and Great Britain. While meant to deter aggression, these alliances entangled nations in conflicts. Imperialism, the pursuit of colonies, created rivalry. European powers competed for control of territories in Africa and Asia. This competition led to conflicts over resources and land. Tension grew between nations as they vied for global dominance. Nationalism, a strong sense of pride and devotion to one's country, also played a role. People became fiercely loyal to their nation-states. They believed their own country was superior to others. This sense of superiority and competition for power and prestige contributed to a climate of distrust and hostility. The spark that ignited the war came on June 28, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was assassinated in Sarajevo. The assassin was Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia for the assassination and issued an ultimatum with harsh demands. When Serbia failed to meet all the demands, Austria-Hungary declared war on July 28, 1914. The system of alliances then came into play. Russia mobilized its troops to support Serbia. Germany, allied with Austria-Hungary, declared war on Russia on August 1st. Germany then declared war on France, Russia's ally, on August 3rd. Germany's war plan involved a swift invasion of France through Belgium. However, Belgium refused to allow German troops to pass. This refusal prompted Germany to declare war on Belgium as well. Great Britain, obligated by a treaty to protect Belgium's neutrality, declared war on Germany on August 4th. Within a week, the major powers of Europe were at war. The world watched in disbelief as a continent plunged into chaos. The Western Front became a defining feature of World War I. It stretched hundreds of miles from the English Channel to Switzerland. Both sides dug elaborate trenches for protection. The area between the trenches, known as No Man's Land, became a deadly battleground. Soldiers faced unimaginable conditions in the trenches. They endured constant shelling, machine gun fire, and poison gas attacks. Rats, lice, and disease were rampant. Millions of men fought and died in these horrific conditions. New technologies made the war even more devastating. Machine guns could fire hundreds of rounds per minute, mowing down waves of soldiers. Artillery guns launched explosive shells that could travel for miles. Poison gas, such as chlorine and mustard gas, caused agonizing deaths. The Western Front saw some of the war's bloodiest battles. The Battle of the Somme, which lasted for months in 1916, resulted in over 1 million casualties. The Battle of Verdun, also in 1916, was another brutal struggle for every inch of ground. While the Western Front was the war's main theatre, fighting raged in other parts of the world as well. The Ottoman Empire joined the Central Powers, adding a new front in the Middle East. Battles took place in Gallipoli, Palestine, and Mesopotamia. The war also spread to Africa and Asia. European colonial powers drew on their colonies for soldiers and resources. Millions of men from India, Africa, Australia, and Canada fought in the war. They faced discrimination and prejudice, yet they fought bravely for their colonial rulers. The war had a profound impact on the colonial world. It exposed the brutality of European imperialism and fueled nationalist movements in the colonies. The war also disrupted trade and economies, causing hardship for millions. Section 5. Machines of destruction, technological advancements and their devastating impact. World War I was a technological turning point in warfare. New weapons and technologies revolutionized combat, making it more deadly than ever before. The machine gun with its rapid fire transformed battlefields. It gave a huge advantage to defensive positions. Artillery guns became larger and more powerful. They could fire shells over vast distances, causing massive destruction. Poison gas, introduced as a weapon of war, inflicted horrific injuries and death. It terrorized soldiers and civilians alike. Tanks, first used in battle in 1916, provided a new way to break through enemy lines. Airplanes, initially used for reconnaissance, were soon equipped with machine guns and bombs. Submarines, though in their early stages of development, disrupted shipping lanes and created a new kind of naval warfare. These technological advancements led to unprecedented casualties and a level of destruction never seen before. They forever changed the face of warfare. Section 6. The Home Front, Total War and Societal Shifts. World War I was a total war impacting every aspect of life, even for those not on the front lines. Governments mobilized their entire populations and economies to support the war effort. Rationing became commonplace as food and resources were diverted to the military. Women played a crucial role on the home front. With millions of men away fighting, women filled factory jobs, drove buses, and worked in hospitals. They challenged traditional gender roles and proved their vital contribution to the war effort. Propaganda posters and newsreels shaped public opinion. Governments used these tools to stir up patriotic fervor and demonize the enemy. Censorship silenced dissenting voices, suppressing any opposition to the war. Section 7. Turning the tide, American intervention and the road to armistice. For the first 3 years of the war, the United States remained neutral. However, several factors drew the U.S. into the conflict. These included German submarine attacks on American ships, the sinking of the Lusitania, and the Zimmermann telegram, a secret diplomatic cable intercepted by the British. The United States declared war on Germany on April 6, 1917. The arrival of fresh American troops and supplies provided a much-needed boost to the Allied war effort. By the fall of 1918, the tide of the war had turned decisively in favor of the Allies. Facing exhaustion and dwindling resources, Germany and its allies began to crumble. On November 11, 1918, Germany signed an armistice agreement with the Allies. The guns finally fell silent after more than 4 years of brutal warfare. Section 8. A flawed peace, the Treaty of Versailles and its consequences. In 1919, the victorious Allied powers met in Paris to negotiate a peace treaty. The Treaty of Versailles, signed on June 28, 1919, officially ended the war. However, the treaty contained harsh terms for Germany. Germany was forced to accept full blame for the war and pay heavy reparations to the Allies. It lost territory and was stripped of its colonies. Its military was severely restricted. These punitive measures aimed to weaken Germany and prevent future aggression. However, the Treaty of Versailles created resentment and instability in Germany. The harsh terms fueled German nationalism and laid the groundwork for the rise of extremism in the years that followed. Section 9. The Great War's Long Shadow, Legacy and Remembrance. World War I had a profound and lasting impact on the world. It shattered empires, redrew national boundaries, and led to the creation of new countries. The war also ushered in a new era of international relations, marked by the creation of the League of Nations, the first attempt at a global peacekeeping organization. The war left an indelible mark on the human psyche. The unprecedented loss of life, the physical and psychological scars of war, and the disillusionment that followed left a generation forever changed. Today we remember World War I with solemn commemorations and memorials. We honor the sacrifice of those who fought and died. We reflect on the war's devastating consequences and strive to learn from the mistakes of the past.